Hi, I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I have been wanting to film a Thrift With Me video at this shop ever since I started filming the Thrift With Me videos. This is one of only a handful of shops in my area that I don't feel comfortable going into. I don't think I would go into the shop without one of my teenage sons with me, or maybe my husband, and you'll see my son in the background in a couple of spots. We were in here filming for probably a good 20 minutes. There was not another soul in the shop. When I finally did make a purchase, I had to ring a bell to the back room to get someone to come out to help me. And this is just, this shop is unsettling in a way that other thrift shops I go to aren't. It doesn't help that almost nothing in here has a price tag on it. A couple of things do, but I would say 80% doesn't. And I don't know the shop, so I don't know what their pricing might be. I was looking at the bundt pans, and this one is plastic. Do they make microwave bundt pans? I decided against the metal one. And another thing with this shop, it just, things feel dirtier than they do at Goodwill or Salvation Army or St. Vincent's, where I know they probably don't clean the things. I grew up going to thrift shops, and I went to some really grimy thrift shops as a child. I don't know why this one feels so different. Part of it is the odor of the place, and I know that they do a lot of cooking in the back, which contributes to it. If I loved my cats more, I would have bought them that scratching post because I love how it's like an old mill bobbin. I don't know if that was the intent of the designer or not. If you know what this little mug is, if you actually know, please tell me, because I came home and I Googled it, and I'm finding a lot of things saying that it is morning china, but it just seems too pink and cheerful looking to be that. And yes, it did come home with me because it was only 50 cents. And I've never seen one before, and I doubt I will see one again. And I know I've never seen one before is not the best reason to bring things home, but sometimes I succumb to that. For 50 cents, I'm not going to feel bad over succumbing to that. I did not succumb to the cute little Niagara Falls cup. I don't know why. I've always been fascinated with Niagara Falls, and lately I'm in a cycle where I am finding Niagara Falls souvenirs, which aren't all that common here in Oregon. Sooner or later, I'm going to cave and buy one, and it'll be in a video, and you can all laugh at me. They do have a bit of a craft section, and I was briefly tempted by this unfinished set of quilt blocks. I did open it up, and it seemed like they were only maybe 3 different color variations, and I convinced myself that it would be too much of a hassle to try to put that all together into an attractive quilt top for our group I belong to. They were all hand stitched, and that is so much work to then be abandoned at the thrift shop. Let alone that seems like so much work for that particular batch of fabrics. At the time, I noticed that the yarn was something I didn't want to knit with, but now I'm looking at it going, those are cones, and I've seen some really cute decorations people are making with cones of yarn. It is almost enough to make me think that I want to go back and take a second look at it if I think about it too hard, but I really don't want to go back to the shop anytime soon, so I'm going to try to steer my thoughts away from that. I came so close to falling in love with this little lamp. It looks like it wanted to be an oil lamp that didn't have the glass shade, but I couldn't logistically figure out how that would work as a functional lamp. And when I turned it wasn't a real lamp, it was ceramic trying to look like a lamp, and I'm limiting myself to real functional oil lamps at this point. This was a Burgerville Lapkin, and I have never seen anything like it, and it is just the proof I needed that there are interesting things to be found in this shop. I didn't need it. There's a trivet, and I probably for 75 cents should have brought the trivet home because I know someone who's designing patterns for them. Sorry, Michelle. Let me know if I need to go back for that. This is the second shop of the week that I don't usually go to because, again, I don't feel particularly comfortable there. They have got a literal maze of furniture going on, and it is just enough space to scoot through, then you hit a dead end and have to double back. This vintage laundry hamper was amazing, and it was only $5 and in fabulous condition and absolutely clean. And if I didn't own 3 of them already, it would have been harder to not bring home another one. I also really was tempted by this magazine holder. I haven't seen one with the cutouts in the sides like that before, and I have bad luck with those at my house. I've broken so many of them. There's a vintage ruffled hassock if you're in the market for one of those. I'm not. And I don't think I'd buy a high chair from this place. It just, no. Even not without worrying about recalls, I don't think I'd do that. This is a cedar chest that was newer but trying to look older. I love old cedar chests, but if I'm going to buy a chest with little library looking drawers like that, I want actual little library looking drawers that function. I was reminded by my middle son that I still owe him a steamer trunk. This, however, is not a steamer trunk, so I didn't even have to worry about that one. I mean, technically, maybe it is a steamer trunk, but I told him it wasn't, and he wants the old-fashioned kind with all the drawers, or at least the leather straps and wheels like the one I got his brother. And here's one of those maze-like dead ends. In my more limber days, I probably just would have moved the chair or crawled over it. Okay, this rattled me. When I was in early elementary school, I had a lot of stomach issues and spent a lot of time in the nurse's office waiting for my mother to pick me up. They had a bedspread just like that one. And that's one of those things that I had totally lost from my memory and maybe didn't need to be reminded of. It's a bag full of rickrack that is a deal for somebody, and a bag full of buttons that if I did not have, I have all the buttons. I don't need any buttons until I use some of the buttons I already have. And I don't knit with metal needles, although that doesn't stop me from picking them up and checking the price because I'm silly like that. I wonder if I dug through all of those patterns at all of the stores, if I would stumble across some great ones now and then. Can someone please tell me what this is? I have stumbled across several of them lately, and I am sure it plugs in. It's a kitchen thing. I am guessing it is some sort of hot plate, but the kids asked, and I don't know the answer. I don't think it's for cooking directly on, is it? If you know, fill me in. Let me know. I like this owl clock. It was really heavy plaster, and now that I look at it in the playback of the video, I like it more than I did in the store. And I do not need to collect clocks. This resin one was just kind of intriguing looking, and it was a box, which makes me understand it even less. And then this box next to it, my brain is trying to make some kind of crazy symbolism. Is the fox about to seize the day? Let me know what you think. My daughter and I have been talking about making some of those suspended teapots that you do in a planter, and I need to bring her back here because this looks like the place to find some cheap teapots to do that project with. I haven't found any anywhere else at all, except some single ones that were overpriced and kind of ugly. So this may be where we need to go to get what we need to tackle that project. She's being really successful with succulents right now and has promised to share some with me. Thank you so much for watching. I am Michelle with Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and these are my least favorite thrift shops of the ones in the area, even though I did find some things that were fun and interesting to look at. I won't be back to these soon, I don't think, except for the teapots, and if I go looking for those, I'll take my daughter with me. Now, it's interesting. I am uncomfortable in this shop. My almost 90-year-old grandma, I think this was one of her regular stops in her routine, and it must not have bothered her at all. So, are there thrift shops that you avoid just because they give you kind of a bad feeling? Like I said, I've got 3 of them. These are 2, and the other one I do wind up in because it is right next door to one of the absolutely wonderful thrift shops. They literally share a wall. Thanks again for watching, and I will be back soon with more thrifting videos because even though I said I was going to stop thrifting after the quest for the wedding shoes ended, obviously I can't do that. I can stop buying things, but I'm not good at staying out of the stores because they're too fun.